Mashatile's sister-in-law and popular KwaZulu-Natal businessman Moses Tembe reportedly have shares in Sizekaya Holdings, which was awarded the operating license. Investigative journalist Azara Karim explains these links.
The recent award went to Sizekaya Holdings, and the tender amount is reported to be around 180 billion rand, so possibly one of South Africa's biggest tenders in recent history. Now, what Amabungane's investigation found was that Sizekaya Holdings Bellamont Gaming has a shareholding in Sizekaya Holdings. Bellamont Gaming is directed by politically connected businessman Moses Tembe and a woman named Kumo Bogatso. Now, Kumo is, like you said, the twin sister of Humile Mashatile. Humile's maiden name is Bogatso.
So as we've seen, the awarding of South Africa's multi-billion rand national lottery license mired in controversy. The losing bidders are challenging the process in court. The National Lotteries Commission Board chairperson, Professor Barney Pityana, joins us now to talk about what went wrong and what comes next. Prof, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. And so many twists and turns in the saga. We see in the High Court in Pretoria dismissing with costs leave to appeal ruling the leave to appeal ruling that found this 12-month temporary license favoured Ituba and declared it invalid and unlawful. However, this invalidity was suspended for 5 months. Where is the NLC tonight in terms of this, you know, the way that all of this is unfolded, and how you steer the ship now into an arena of certainty around this license?
Good evening, Iman. Good evening to your viewers. Thank you very much for inviting me to join you tonight. As far as we can tell at the moment, really we are not able definitively to say, as you seem to be under the impression that something has gone wrong. What is happening in the country is that the law is taking its course. And in the nature of things, in a law-abiding, rule of law society, all the parties have got a right to approach the court if they have a matter that they believe needs to be resolved and can be resolved best by approaching the court. And that is what has happened. In the course of the evaluation and adjudication, which happened, I have to say that this matter never came before us in the manner in which it is reported today, and we had no way of knowing or making connections between politicians and that in this matter at all. That issue did not arise. But now that it has arisen regarding Belmont and Sizekaya, now that it has risen, in fact, it does not constitute a violation of the, as far as we can see, it does not yet constitute a violation of the RFP or even of the Lotteries Act. Because the story that we have up to this point, unless something else comes out, is that somebody who's a shareholder, one of the big shareholders in the consortium that has been preferred by the minister, is related to vice president of the country. Nothing more is being said but that. And we had sought a legal opinion about that in relating to other similar instances. And the legal opinion we had makes it very clear to us that what is being referred to is not just politically exposed people. It rather means people who are office bearers of one of or other of the political parties, or people who are active and actually the lottery will actually be contributing to a political party. It's as precise as that. Yeah. Now, it's very difficult in South Africa to say that it is possible for any South African to have no links familial or whatever you call it, with any political party, it's an almost impossible task. And I start by saying that this is not a matter that we explored, but the story as we have heard it doesn't take us any further than where we were. Our view remains that that we investigated any instance of political proximity such as to violate the National Lotteries Act. Nothing like that is being suggested. Even the story that has been published in the last weekend, even that story doesn't say that the proximity was such as to violate the National Lotteries Act. The minister
may I come
was
in?
taking this.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
so
please.
sorry. I'm so sorry, Prof. I just want to come in and also because in the interest of time, and I've got a couple more things I want to ask you. You're satisfied as the National Lotteries Commission that there has been zero political influence, and you know that this is a wound in South Africa, political connectedness leading to contracts and so on. So we've got a bigger story at play, and this kind of fits into that context where we want to make sure that anyone who's given a license as lucrative as this one to operate has not had any unfair benefit from somebody else, making a suggestion or a recommendation. This was a completely agnostic process, you would say.
No. Yeah. Inan, that's not what we're saying. That's not what the Act doesn't even require us to say that, because that is nearly impossible. We are agnostic about that. We don't know. But what is important is not that just people who are politically exposed. It's got to be people who are office bearers or people who are likely to be financial or other contributors to a political party or another. And our investigations, I also did say this particular matter that is now out is not a matter that was on our radar. We at least as for me, we never investigated it. The news has just come in, and it's not a matter that we knew. But even as we know what we now know, I have no reason to believe that it changes the legal position that we would have taken in the circumstances. So I see that it's an interesting thing and all that. It's something that journalists have to do, but it does not really take the matter as far as the lottery is concerned. I was beginning to say when you interrupted me, the minister has been so concerned about this political relationship. He has not said so, but I'm almost certain that's one of the reasons why there was a delay, because that's one of the matters that he investigated at different levels again and again and again. I have no idea as to whether this particular matter came to his radar at all. So the point I'm making is that we have no reason to think that the process has been influenced by the proximity of certain people to politicians or another. I can tell you from as far as our involvement as a board, nothing like that would have happened at all. There was no political influence of any kind.
So let's then steer this into the arena of certainty. Prof, how concerned are you now about the delays and the legal battles impacting the continuity of the National Lottery operations and the social causes that depend on its funding? In other words, just certainty on this matter.
Two things. We believe as the board and as the ministry that as of now, there is a temporary license that has been awarded to Ituba Holdings as a continuation of the previous license. And nothing that we have seen so far addresses that problem, nor are we aware that that issue is under attack. So there is a lottery that is running, and our major concern was that there should be a continuation of the lottery as best as possible within the law. That's what we're concerned about. The second thing I want to say is that this is the third time that there has been a transition from one a lottery provider to another. At each turn in those instances, there has been litigation, contestation. That happens as a matter of course. This time, it will be even more multiplied because the applicants, there were 8 applicants. Never before have there been more than 3, maybe 4 applicants at any one time. But this time, there were 8 applicants. So you can expect the complications that we are seeing. So this is not a matter of worry and concern. It's a matter of, if you like, celebration of the ability of our legal system to be able to assist people to resolve matters in a legal and appropriate manner.
Given what you've just said, and I think, again, it's, it's a sign of the market that you have so many competitors, and that's a good thing because you want the best outcome and people that can operate this in an unimpeachable way. What mechanisms, Prof, given all of the swirl now and given the litigation as well, what mechanisms can be put in place to guarantee that future license awards are free from any kind of conflict, even conflicts of interest, and are fully compliant with the National Lotteries Act? In other words, that baton is seamlessly passed on from one operator to another.
The first thing I must say, Imani, that it is not surprising that there is so much contestation about this. The application for a lottery is big stakes. And people actually invest a lot of money into this process itself. So yes, nobody invests the money that they did in order to sit back and say, oh, it has happened. So obviously not. So there's a measure of understanding of our part. The human factor kind of comes in. The second thing I want to say that I'm in Cape Town at the moment. Obviously, the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee has called us to Cape Town for much the same reasons that you have aired and expressed in this interview. And I will be able to make the same answers to the Portfolio Committee that as far as we are concerned, I can almost assure anybody in the processes that the board of the National Lotteries Commission and that process was monitored by a quality assurance independent process throughout the process in which this was happening. None of that there would be a matter of concern at all. And therefore, if for any reason we may have missed one thing or another, but the independent quality control body that was actually overseeing the process would have noticed that there was something untoward. The report of the quality assurers has not noticed anything, didn't see anything wrong. So I am able to face the people of South Africa and say, I can assure that there has been no ill will towards anybody, no interference politically or otherwise in the manner of the work that was done. I cannot,
no favor.
Of course, once it leaves that, the matter then goes to the minister. And then the minister has got the onerous duty to make the decision. Once he has evaluated and looked at every information that he too has a team of quality assurers that are really looking into all aspects of this. So at a human level, we can more or less say that humanly speaking, there has been no interference in this process, none whatsoever.
And no favor is what I was interjecting with, Prof.
I can say that no one has been given a favor, none whatsoever, not in the processes of the board. The minister will answer for himself. I don't want to involve him in this. But as far as we can see, there has been no indication, and nobody is suggesting that. All there is that we see is speculation and fear in a politicized environment. That is not surprising. It doesn't surprise us, but I can say, objectively speaking, empirically speaking, nobody has said, yes, this is what happened, and this is the evidence.
Why doesn't it surprise you, Prof?
It doesn't surprise us because this is a high stakes process. A lot of investment has been made into this, and a lot of people have invested a lot, not just in monetary terms, but emotionally and others, politically in some instances as well. And it's not surprising. It has happened historically from one to another. But now it multiplies because there are 8 contestants who actually were bidding for this license this time. And so 1.9, some others say billion returns that are expected out of this. It's understandable that there would be a lot of issues around this. But I can say very, very clearly, as far as the board is concerned, and I have reason to believe as far as the minister is concerned, nothing of interference of any kind. In fact, every effort was made to make sure that no interference. For example, when the evaluation committee and when the adjudication committee were working, they were in fact incognito and they were not accessible. The idea was to protect them from any form of interference and accessibility that can result in results that were not above board or anything like that. So every effort was made to make sure that the system is protected enough so that those who are reviewing all of this material can do so at a human level without any foreign influence or outside influence at all of any kind.
Prof, again, we appreciate your time. I just want to go back to the inventory that you gave about investments that people have made in, and that is a lucrative number you shared with us. 1.9 billion rand is the returns that are expected from being licensed. What did you mean when you said they were also...
I think I'm actually underestimating that. I think it was, one I saw was 9.4 billion actually.
Yeah, that's a tidy...
Over a period of 8 years, of course.
Yeah, but it's still a tidy, it's a tidy payday. Yeah. When you said, and you gave that inventory of investments, when you said people have made political investments, just explain that.
Well, I say that I think in a country like ours, it is understandable that political parties are concerned about who might benefit from this. So the reason you have political parties is that they should be alert to any undue influences of any state institutions that may happen to benefit one or other of the political parties. It's a job of political parties to do so. And in my view, they are doing what is appropriate for them. That's why we come here to give a clean bill as to what we're doing, and we make ourselves available to be questioned, because we think we're living as we do in a parliamentary and democratic society. We must be accountable. We must make ourselves available to be accountable. That's what we're doing.
All right. Thanks then for popping by, Prof. Pityana, and just giving us your perspective, especially in the aftermath of that Amabungane report as well, sharing the official responses there from the NLC, and that's Board Chair Professor Barney Pityana. Appreciate your time.